probably the strongest team coming into this tournament.
The Seminoles have been the strongest team in this league. The two-time reigning champ. They've never lost a team match in this tournament. What makes them so strong?
Athleticism. They're, I think, probably across the board the biggest, the tallest team here. Very athletic, very consistent. All
right, we'll get a look at Brooke Niles Seminoles and the Panthers of FIU. Our first of two semis, then the championship. A full day of volleyball on the 11 Sports Network.
Pozzo, Taija from FIU on court 4. In the third matchup, Macy, Jerger,
Well, let's get this day of beach volleyball rolling. We're going to start you on court 5 and back you up to court 1, and we're ready to go for Florida State. At number 5, Ava Torreya and Francesca Gonsalves against Betancourt and Giron for Florida International. On court 4 for Florida State, it's Brooke Kuhlman, a preseason all-conference player and an All-American last year, and the sophomore Molly McBain. And they've got the number 4 team of Mary Del Pozzo and Taija Thomas, and they've already played 4 three-setters already, have the FIU pair at the number 4, Del Pozzo and Taija Thomas. All right, now the threes, it's Macy Jerger and Sara Putt. Jerger, also known for her academics, two-time reigning Scholar Athlete of the Year in the league, and Klinger and Friesen on the Panthers side. On the twos, we got Katie Horton, the 5th-year senior, and Hailey Luke, another 5th-year senior, the all-conference pair for Florida State, and they've got Zembyla and Bernier for Florida International on the number 2 court. And the number ones for Florida State, the all-conference pair and the reigning national pair of the week. Paranagua for Florida State, number 25 and 12, Freire, against the top pair and the number 5 nationally ranked number 1 team at FIU, Federica, Frasca, and Bianchin. Second time these two have faced off this year, Florida State and FIU. And Florida State, throughout the years, has traditionally dominated FIU. All right, we're underway on all 5 courts. And the first point of the day registered by Tory, Paranagua. I can hear you better. Rachel, what's the challenge of today? The ideal conditions probably not here today. A little bit of wind, overcast skies.
It is a little breezy. All of these players have played in rain and wind, so this isn't going to impact their game too incredibly bad, but they do need to use the wind. They should serve into the wind. You're going to see a lot of top spins, so these girls are going to be aggressive. They've been here, and they know what they've got to do here.
Just to get you caught up on beach volleyball, if you're not completely familiar, we've got 5 courts, number 1 through 5. As a team, you got to win 3 out of 5 to advance. Each court is a best 2 out of 3 sets. And the number 1 pair for Florida State, the reigning national pair of the week, is off to a very good start here on court 1. They lead it 3-0.
That was a great defensive play by Freire. You know, when you think about this game, these girls make it look so easy. But indoor, if you get one-on-one, if you get a single block, it's pretty much a kill. Out here, you're one-on-one all the time.
Here's a chance for FIU. Great work at the net there by Paranagua. And Bianchin unable to put that one away. The longest rally of the early going, and it's put home by Paranagua again.
That was a great pull and defend on that. Again, every defensive ball they get up here is a game changer.
The number 1 team for Florida State. The Seminoles are 18-0 this year when they get a victory on the number 1 court. And the first set has started pretty well for them. Freire with a great dig. Freire punches one towards the back corner. FIU registers the point as Frasca gets the Panthers on the board.
Frasca and Bianchin, I remember watching them against Florida State, actually, in the championships last year. They're such a good pair, so consistent, so they'll get into it.
Both teams are nationally ranked. FIU is number 10, Florida State is number 7, and they've been a fixture in the top 10 as Freire dumps one over the net for a 5-1 lead. It's a very good league, the CCSA. Many would consider it the top league in the NCAA beach volleyball, if not the top, certainly one of them. You got good teams like the College of Charleston, Tulane, that didn't even make it into this semifinal day. FIU as well. 7 points on the board, and they will change sides here as you see the coach for FIU walking along with the team. That's Rita Buck-Crockett, 2015 Sand Volleyball Coach of the Year, and at one point Sports Illustrated named her the world's best athlete back in 1984. We've got a lot of beach volleyball success in the coaching ranks around here today. Very powerful start here on the hit from Paranagua. What do you like so far about what you're seeing from the #1 pair from the Seminoles?
Consistency. I don't think they've had an error yet.
Freire, who's 95-30 in her career duels at Florida State. That's one of the best marks in FSU history. She's got the serve. It registers another point.
I remember watching this pair in the championships last year, and they were actually Coach Niles' second line, and they've just consistently gotten better and better and better.
They jumped out to a 4-0 start here in this first set, the best of 3, and they've extended it out to 7-2 at the moment. As a pair, this #1 team for Florida State is 13-2 on the year. Yet one of those losses, Rachel, was in this tournament. It's the only point the Seminoles have dropped in pool play in their 4-team matches this year. They lost their match to the LSU top pair.
Yeah, the LSU top pair is a very strong pair. They were just freshmen last year. I can't believe it. But I'm sure they've learned from that loss, and they look really strong this morning.
We will see that LSU top pair in the second semifinal. Coppola and Kristen Nuss, the 2 sophomores that Rachel's talking about. So it's 9-3, the Seminoles lead here, and this is one of the tougher opponents the Seminoles will face, and they're making this first set look fairly routine. Deflected at the net by Freire. Second long rally here, the opening set, and the swing with the left hand for Paranagua.
Freire and Paranagua are both tall girls, and you'll actually see them split block at times. What they didn't show on that was their awesome defensive play.
Love the look from right on top of the net. That one was just long, so Florida State's advantage swells out to an 8-point lead on court 1. So 14 points registered. And now a chance for, that's actually Angela Rock, a volunteer assistant, a former co-coach with Brooke Niles, the head coach of Florida State, and then Angela Rock coached Brooke Niles in the professional ranks as well. She said there's nobody better in-game coaching than Angela Rock. Now we're watching court 2 here. Currently, it's an 11-5 lead for FIU on court number 2. The pairing of Bernier and Zembyla.
These girls looked really strong yesterday. Zembyla has a good serve when she gets it going.
That was turned away by Hailey Luke. That set was a little bit too close to the net, and it's pushed far by Horton. So court 1 is a dominating first set lead for Florida State. Court 2 is the same story, but for FIU. Court 4 is currently a 5-point lead for Florida State. We'll do our best to keep you updated as the matches progress. Brady dumps one over. It's a 12-3 lead for the Seminoles here and the #1 pair.
They look so in control so far. Great communication, great ball control, just really good, smart choices.
Florida State kept that one alive briefly. The point will be registered to Fede Frasca, the sophomore out of Rome, Italy, and you'll see that all across the FIU roster. International players up and down Rita Buck Crockett's team. That international flair has been a large part of their success this year. They are one team match victory away from matching the program record. Paranagua digs it out and then finishes the point right on the line.
It was a great defensive dig by Frasca, but Florida State was able to pick it right back up and put it away with that great cut shot.
Tory Paranagua, a senior out of Austin, Texas. #1 in Florida State history in her duels record. 97 career duel wins. That one's gonna help her as she blocks it down for another point.
You'll see Florida State. See her mixing it up with her block here, taking an angle. Great block.
How important is it to register the first points of the match for your team?
I think it's huge as far as momentum goes. Gets you in rhythm, gets you confident.
How aware are you of what's going on the courts around you?
I don't think they're very aware. I think they're completely focused on their court. I'm sure they recognize their teammates' cheers, but they're totally focused on what's happening on their court.
Well, right now, it appears as though Florida State has a lead on only one court, and it is the court that you're watching, court 1. Still early on in the first sets, about halfway through the first set on all 5 courts. But keep in mind, it's a Seminoles team that has dropped just one pairs match in 14 matches in this CCSA tournament.
I'm not surprised by seeing FIU up on several courts. This was the championship matchup last year, and Florida International played them so well.
Put down with the left hand by Bianchin, the transfer from St. John's and another native of Italy. All right, we got a technical timeout here. The pairs have combined for 21 points. The technical timeout in set #1 underway on Championship Sunday from the CCSA Volleyball Championships. We are on #2 now, court 2, where currently FIU leads it 14-7. Hard swing and a Florida State point. That is Hailey Luke, the 5th-year senior out of Altamonte Springs, Florida. This #2 pair for Florida State, just like the #1 pair, an all-conference pair. As this rally continues, we take you over now to court 4 and a look at Brooke Kuhlman and Molly McBain. It's Kuhlman, the junior out of Naples, who serves here.
Kuhlman played on the #1 line last year and had such a great year. So seeing her mixing it up with a different partner this year, it's fun to see these girls be flexible and utilize their skills with various partners and in different ways.
There's a look at the score. It's 14-10, so Florida State has climbed on top in the first set here. Over on court 4, Molly McBain registers that point, sophomore out of Toronto. It's a strong Florida State pair. You can say that about 1 through 5. There's a reason they are the overwhelming favorite in this league. These two have won 12 of their last 13 matches together. That one sliced just wide for the FIU point. 15-10 is Florida State's score. the lead on court 4 as we jump you back over to the top pairs, and a 15-7 lead for the Seminoles back on court 1. There hasn't been a set registered yet on any of the 5 courts. Frasca, what an angle!
That was an incredible shot, especially off the set that wasn't quite where she wanted it.
The FIU pair 27-5 at the #1 position this year. Freire gets a running start. That one is tipped at the net and a point for Florida State, as they are getting close on court 1 to registering the first set of this opening semifinal. Nicely done there as Frasca again utilizes the angle down to the left.
Yeah, she's starting to get in rhythm now. I knew they would eventually. You can see her shots hitting, their communication's getting better.
Florida State continues to lead on court 4. Court 5 is currently tied midway through the first set. Over the outstretched arms of Bianchin. That swing is put home by Freire.
Freire is playing such great defense today and just siding out so well.
17-9 is the lead for Florida State on court #1. They jumped out to a 4-0 lead. They led it 8-2. They've been in control. That one's going to help. It's a powerful left arm there for Bianchin, isn't it?
Just past Freire's arm. Looked like she wanted to block line, but didn't quite take it.
Wide open space, easily dumped over. Paranagua has put the Seminoles within striking distance here of the first set. First 2 sets, best of 21. If it goes to a 3rd set, it's first to 15. Same story on all 5 courts. And the winner of this team match will get the winner of our next semifinal, which is LSU and South Carolina.
Just missed that serve long. See, she's going aggressively in that seam.
Court number 3 has just been finished off. Court number 4, we should say. Florida State takes the opening set on court number 4, and they're getting very close to taking the opening set on court number 1. Tory Paranagua with the service. And Freire couldn't control that one. Goes back over to the Panthers.
You can see the girls' hair in their tank tops. It is breezy out today, and just that little bit of wind can impact that ball just that much.
Brooke Niles was funny this morning. She said, look, we're used to this. She said, every year at the CCSA tournament, it gets like this on Sunday. We take you over now to court number 2, where FIU is looking to put away the first set, but that is a hard swing and a point for Hailey Luke. It's 19-13 FIU. Check it, 20-13 FIU over on court number 2. So both courts, you can see court 2 in the foreground, 1 in the background, close to ending the opening set. That'll do it for FIU on court number 2. And put Florida State on court 1 within a point. It's now 20-13 on the top court in your view. So far, Florida State picked up the opening set on court 4. They are close to doing so on court 1. FIU won the opening set on court 2. Off the tape, Freire keeps it alive and dumps it over. Wow, Freire with the athleticism, unable to corral that one from Bianchin.
I think she wishes she had that point back.
Just barely missed.
Just barely missed. I would have liked to see her have gone deep on that out of systems play instead of short, but they're playing so well.
Bianchin trying to keep the Panthers alive in this first set with the top pair, but it will go to Florida State as set point courtesy of Vanessa Freire. And Florida State has taken the opening set on 2 of the 3 courts that have finished the opening set.
We'll let you know the set scores as we down on court 1. Florida State wins the first
Court
set.
5 currently in a battle towards the end of the first set. And court 3 is the same story. It appears as though Florida State getting close to a first set victory over on court 3. What'd you like about the first set from this top pair for Florida State?
Everything.
Here's court 4 now. The start of the second set just underway, and it is a 3-0 start for the pair of Brooke Kuhlman and Molly McBain, who also took the first set. Number 20 serving is Kuhlman, junior out of Naples. 21, Molly McBain, sophomore out of Toronto. And perfectly placed. The swing goes right in between Thomas and Del Pozzo for a 4-0 run to start the second set on court number 3.
Kuhlman is so good. She just makes it look easy. She's so consistent.
Taija Thomas leaves one up there for Del Pozzo, who began her career at Eastern Florida State College, trying to finish it out with a strong run here for the Panthers of FIU. Court 3 has just gone complete after the first set. Florida State takes the first set on court number 3. So FIU was out in control early on a lot of these courts, but Florida State battled back and took the first set on 3 of the 4 courts that have gone final in the first set.
Yeah, you know, on days like this when it's a little chilly, it's overcast, sometimes it just takes a little bit longer to find your rhythm, to really get warmed up, and it looks like they're getting there now.
That pair of Thomas and Del Pozzo, used to 3-setters, as we take you back over to court number 1. Start of the second set here for the top pair for the Panthers and the Seminoles, and a long rally to begin the set goes to the Panthers and Bianchin.
Yeah, you see Frasca made an adjustment. She actually moved her defense a big step up to pick up those short shots from the first game.
How much in-game strategy is involved here when you're playing pairs? How much can you switch up as the game progresses?
A ton. You have to be flexible. You have to be able to adjust to whatever the team is giving you, whether that's switching up your block, your defense. Every point you've got to make sure that you're making the necessary adjustments.
Breeze picked up a little bit. It carried that ball a bit to the right, but it was handled beautifully by Bianchin, and FIU as their first lead of this match. It comes at 2-1 here in the second set. Second set on courts 1 through 4 underway. Court 5 battling their way deep into the first set. We're tied here at 2 on the number 1 court. This pair of Paranagua and Freire, their loss to LSU yesterday, the only point dropped by Florida State this year, and in the 3 years of this tournament and this league, it's the best Florida State has come through pool play. They have lost at least 2 pair matches in pool play each of the first 2 years. Nicely done. Catches FIU by surprise. And it's put home with the left-handed swing of Paranagua.
That's a great defensive play by Frasca. Just couldn't match up against Florida State's firepower there.
Court number 2, you saw Hailey Luke in the foreground with the swing. Beautiful complex here, the Rally Volleyball Complex, situated as part of the Lake Point Sports Complex. And court number 5, deep into the first set, is just offset from the Lake Point water sports area. This is 24 all, FIU and Florida State. First set, 5th court. Gonsalves had the serve. And it's now a 1-point lead, 25-24. Set point now for Giron and Betancourt and the Panthers. So they'll switch sides as they still try and figure out that opening set as the second set on the other 4 courts progresses along. A rare miss by Freire on court 1 makes it 5-4 FIU. We'll stay on court 5, see if we can get you the completion of this second set, but that one sails long to lock us up at 25. The Florida State pair, Gonsalves and Tory, only lost once this year in 15 matches, and now they are a point away from taking the opening set here in this first of 2 semifinals. Ava Tory, redshirt sophomore out of Puerto Rico with the serve. And we're gonna keep this set going. That was Betancourt to lock us up at 26. At this point, Rachel, you mentioned that most courts probably not aware of what's going on around them. Do you think court 5 is aware as they extend into deep in the first set?
I'm sure they're aware of court 4. Kuhlman and McBain, won that game pretty quickly, and I'm sure they're aware on switches, but clearly they're in a lockdown match here with FIU, so they're just trying to get this win.
Tory with the dig, now the swing. And that'll do it. Florida State takes the opening set on court number 5, and the Seminoles take the opening set on 4 of the 5 courts. We'll take a timeout, get you back for the exciting conclusion of this first semifinal. Florida International and Florida State. We bring you back to the Rally Volleyball Complex. It is tied at 8 here in the second set with the top pairs, and that one just barely missed the back corner. I thought Brady's ball was going to fall in.
I think it caught the line. They're going to check that ball mark, and it looks like it got it to me.
I agree with you, Rachel. They're going to give it a look.
Yeah.
And it's in.
That was a great defensive play.
Let's get you updated on what's going on the 5 courts. On court number 5, it was a 28-26 first set victory for Florida State. Seminoles also took the first set on court 4, court 3, and court 1. On court number 2, FIU took the first set, but Florida State has come back strong in the second. Frasca with the tough dig, then the swing, and she'll register that point for FIU to tie us up at 9 on the top court.
Frasca and Bianchin getting in rhythm here in the second game.
These two have extensive experience together. They were teammates at the Under-21 Euro Championships back in 2014. That back corner is very good to the Seminoles here in this second set.
Yeah, Bianchin, as good as she is, you know, a little undersized compared to Freire and Paranagua, so it's going to be tough defending those two.
Alongside the beach volleyball player and the coach, Rachel Erika, I'm Darren Goldwater. An early start to our day, 2 semifinals and a championship to determine the automatic berth in the NCAA tournament. Florida State likely in. How about FIU's chances if they don't win this tournament?
I guess it's hard to answer until I see what LSU does. I think
we got a technical timeout in set number 2. A 1-point lead for Florida State in the second set on court number 1. Court 4 is 19-9, about to end. It'll be 1-0. It's not over yet. Oh, they were down huge, FIU, in the second set. Now they're back to 2. Is it over? It's over. You're looking at the number 4 pair of Brooke Kuhlman and Molly McBain, who win in straight sets for the first point of the day. They won at 21-13 and 21-10, and they have registered the Seminoles' first point of the day. 2 more matches in favor of the Seminoles would advance them into the championship, which is slated for 1 o'clock this afternoon. Here you're looking at the top 2 courts. The number 1 court at the top of your screen, and in the foreground, the number 2 court. Whereas they switch sides, things have gotten interesting on that number 2 court. But we'll take you back over to number 1, where it's just a 1-point disparity after the Seminoles took the first set. What's changed about Frasca and Bianchin in this second set to make it a more competitive set on court 1?
ball control, and FIU's cleaned up their service errors as well.
Paranagua with yet another kill. So court 4, if you just missed that, that has gone final already, a straight set victory for Florida State. Court number 2 is the only court in which FIU has at least one set to its credit, but they're down in the second set on court number 2. As this one continues to go back and forth on court number 1, tied at 13.
It's been a few points now where you've seen FIU go short right over Florida State's block. Paranagua and Freire need to figure out who's going to take that ball. You saw Paranagua hesitate.
Pair of seniors, who Brooke Niles said that's why this team has been so good. The veteran leadership by Paranagua, Freire, some of the other seniors. They get 1 point back. It's 14-13 now. Seminoles on court 1 in the second set. It looked as though the Seminoles were trying to adjust right there as Paranagua began backing up.
You know, you got the breeze actually blowing that way in the direction that she was pulling. And that's just tough. That's a lot of court to cover. And she pulled a little wide instead of back into the court. But at least they made the adjustment. They're trying.
It's the first time in this tournament that the teams have been faced with any type of weather like this. I hesitate to really call this weather. It's cloudy, it's drizzling, it's windy, but it's not awful. The first 2 days of this tournament were played under sunny skies, warm weather. Paranagua with another strong swing as court 1 continues to alternate points. So far, the Seminoles with the only team point of the match. It was on court number 4. And back-to-back points here on court number 1 for the Seminoles. First 2-point lead for either team in a while here on the top court.
Deep shot just out by Bianchin. I'll be interested to see if they start going at her a little bit more.
That knuckler fluttered a little bit. It was handled well by Bianchin. And it leads to a point for the Panthers. Low service just over the net, handled by the Seminoles.
Just out.
And 2 straight points for Florida International after 2 straight for Florida State. Let's take you to court 2 where it is set point for Florida State. They dropped the opening set on court number 2, 20-12. But they lead it 20-13 here with Hailey Luke putting one into the net. This second pair in the foreground for the Seminoles, hoping to force a third and decisive set, which the way courts 1 and 3 are going may or may not be relevant. That one's out, sliced out of there by Bernier, and we are 1 set apiece on court number 2. So still, Rachel, only 1 team point has been registered, but we're getting pretty close on court 1, on court 3, to seeing some changes there.
Yeah, you see Luke and Horton here on court 2 really pulling it back together on the second game. They've gotten their rhythm now, got their ball control back, so this should be a really great third game in this set on court 2.
You're looking at court number 3 with number 3. That's Sara Putt, the redshirt sophomore, high-fiving Macy Jerger.
Macy Jerger has been a very consistent one for Coach Niles in her lineup the last 2 years, and a really strong pair here with Putt this year.
Look at FIU's coach, Rita Crockett, 2015 Coach of the Year, but back in her day, 2-time Olympian, one of the best volleyball players in the world. We skip you over to court 5 with a break in the action over on court 3. Remember, 5 is the one that had the marathon first set won by the Seminole pair of Taija and Gonsalves. They won it 28-26 in the opening set.
It doesn't really matter what court you look at for Florida State. They just have such great athletes. And FIU is so well coached. I expected this to be a tight one. I remember the championships last year, and it was super fun to watch. And that's why I'm not surprised here that Frasca and Bianchin have pulled this one back on the second game on court 1.
Court 5 is the technical timeout. 12-9 is the score. FSU in the lead. And here we are tied in set number 2 with the top pair. First set was a runaway victory on this court for Florida State. And the 5th-ranked number 1 pair in the country, Frasca and Bianchin, battling back to try and make this thing even here in the second set. Rachel, we talked as Rita Crockett walks down that edge of the court there. We talked earlier today about that walk and talk philosophy in terms of the coaching. Explain that one a little bit more.
So this is a little different than indoor. The coaches aren't on the court coaching each point throughout the game. They will coach, during switches, side outs, and timeouts. And so on those switches, you'll see some of these players kind of go to their coach and walk with them for instruction on that time. And Rita's one of those that will walk with her players, just to make sure that they're paying attention to all the little things that she wants them to do.
Paranagua had the perfect angle for the last point for the Seminoles to get him within one here. Talking about a perfect angle, going cross court is Frasca. Set point now for FIU in the second set on court one. Paranagua missed it wide. And for the third time in this tournament, the top pair for Florida State drops a set. Dropped 2 to LSU yesterday, and will drop the second set here to FIU on semifinal Sunday. Courts 1 and 2 are into the third set. The only team point registered, Florida State on court number 4, although they're getting close on court 3. Score on court 3. 2016 FSU. FSU's red, correct? Yeah. Court 3 is set 2, but it's match point on court 3. It could be over. If it's over, it's going to be 2-0 FSU. It is over. They win it in straight sets on court 3. The number 3 pair for Florida State, Sara Putt, Macy Jerger just finished off Friesen and Klinger for FIU in straight sets. Team-wise, it is 2-0 Florida State, but there is a lot to be decided here in this opening semifinal. Semifinals, first to 3 in terms of team points, but on these two courts you're looking at, we're into the third set. And on court number 5, it was a marathon first set, so they're just playing the second set. Here we are back on court number 1. Remember, third set goes to 15. It's the opening point of the third set that'll go to the Seminoles.
This third set will go to 15, and you'll see the girls switch on 5s. We switch every 5 to 15, every 7 to 21, which on days when it's windy really helps keep both sides even.
Yeah, I thought that last swing by FSU may have even been affected by the wind, as Freire puts one off the face of her teammate to tie it up.
Yeah, the wind, from what I can tell, is blowing across the court towards the up referee. So the ball's going to travel that way, and you'll see them serving into the wind.
So again, just to recap, courts 3 and 4 have gone to the Seminoles. The duo of Putt and Jerger on court 3, now 16-0 this year. They were able to handle that wind, but the conditions don't really favor anybody, correct? It's just what everyone's dealing with.
It's what everyone's dealing with, and that's why they switch. So if there's a good side, both teams will get equal time on the good side.
Both third sets on courts 1 and 2 are neck and neck right now. You're watching court 1. Over on court 2, it's a 2-point lead for FIU. Bianchin, I thought that one may have been sliding out. Freire saves it. And then Freire clips the line.
Got the line. You see Tory Paranagua a little more hesitant in the last game with her blocking. She's a little indecisive whether she's going to stay or pull, and FIU is kind of taking advantage of that. But Freire picked up that ball and was able to side that out. So I'd like to see Tory just stay aggressive in this game.
Well, it'll be Tory to serve. Coming right at you, the lefty. Nice set here for Freire. And Bianchin powers that one off the arms of Florida State. It's tied at 3 on the top court. Frasca, the serve for the Panthers, and that one's dumped just in front of her for a 4-3 Seminole lead.
It was a great set by Freire, put her right on the net. Bianchin pulled, so that was a great shot.
First to 15, win by 2 here in the third set. That one's going to help as Frasca dials up the fastball from the right arm. Bianchin fell down. It opened up that back corner for Freire, who's been picking on that back corner. We take you now to court number 5. The marathon first set win for Taija and Gonsalves. And now here in the second set, they are close to closing this match out for Florida State. They lead it 19-15. And one more team point would clinch this semifinal for the Seminoles. Betancourt with the serve. Here's Gonsalves with the swing. And 1 point away for the Seminoles, clinching on court 5 and the match. Florida State won on courts 3 and 4 in straight sets. They're close to doing so on court number 5 to clinch this match. Nicely done by the left arm of Nadi Giron. Keeps the Panthers in. The 2 third sets continue on the top 2 courts as we watch court number 5. Giron and Betancourt for FIU, trying to keep this match going for FIU. That'll work for Florida State. And the Seminoles have captured this first of 2 semifinals. They win it on courts 3, 4, and 5. And have a 3-0 lead as 2 third sets continue on courts 1 and 2. They will finish out these 2 matches, even if the Panthers are able to capitalize. It won't matter. Florida State has the necessary 3 points to move on to the championship. And the Seminoles will remain perfect in CCSA tournament play. Here are the 2 third setters. Top of the screen is court number 1, where it is a 9-5 lead for Florida State's duo of Paranagua and Freire. And on the bottom court, it is now 12-all as that service sails long. Bernier, Zembyla, the FIU pair on court number 2, and Horton and Luke for Florida State. action continuing here on the top two courts, but the result has been determined as Florida State wins courts 3, 4, and 5. And Rachel, I asked Brooke Niles earlier today if there's a key. You got to get one of the courts. Is there a swing court? She said, we're just so strong top to bottom. And their victory in this team match proves that, winning on 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, she hasn't had one team that's had to carry the load. On all of her teams 1 through 5 have been super consistent.
A 10-6 lead in the third set on court 1, down on court 2. It's first to 15, so it's match point now for FIU. And they have, was that call just reversed? Or not, it was. So it goes to Florida State, big swing. Instead of 14-12 FIU, it is 13 all on this court number 2. Hailey Luke with the service. Zembyla with the swing. Nicely done as Horton runs that one down and Luke plays it over. And Zembyla will set FIU up with a match point. The second pair of Zembyla and Bernier took the opening set here on court number 2. They're close to taking the third set as well, which would be just the second point the Seminoles team has surrendered in this tournament. So here's match point on court number 2 in your foreground. Bernier keeps it alive. And it's Horton who puts one inside the line to tie things up at 14. We've already had one marathon, the first set on court number 5. The Seminoles pair of Tory and Gonsalves took that one 28-26. That one slips wide from Katie Horton, and it sets up the third seed and the 10th team ranked nationally in the AFCA poll, the FIU Panthers, for another match point here on court number 2. Staying alive. Horton puts that one back towards the right corner as court number 1 is also getting close towards a completion of the third set. Florida State already won on courts 3, 4, and 5. Straight sets on those 3, third sets on the top 2 courts. That point you saw at the top of your screen makes it now just 12-10 Florida State. That swing is in on court 2 for Bernier, and this will be their third match point for the second pair in the Panthers. Both of these matches on the top 2 courts could finish up almost simultaneously. 16-15 on court number 2, match point for the third time. And Florida State, for the third time, saves match point as Horton goes cross court. Meanwhile, top of your screen, it is 13-10 currently. Seminoles lead. That swing is wide. For the first time on court number 2, it'll be the pair of Horton and Luke who have staved off 3 match points. It'll be their first crack at a match point down on court number 2. Fifth-year senior out of Michigan, Horton with the opening serve. Barely kept alive there by FIU and put into the net by Luke. So 3 set point match points saved by Luke and Horton, 1 now by Bernier and Zembyla. And it is match point now on court number 1 for Florida State. Turn your attention top of your screen. Court 1, this is match point. 14-11 is the lead for the Seminoles, make it 15-11. And the pair of Paranagua and Freire take it in 3 sets over the 5th-ranked nationally team at the number 1 position, Frasca and Bianchin. So Florida State now leads 4-0 from a team standpoint. Make it 5. The Seminoles sweep the Panthers. The second match point, the charm for the second team, Katie Horton and Hailey Luke. A 5-0 sweep for the Seminoles past the Panthers. It wasn't as easy as that line score will look. It went 3 sets on the top 2 courts, and plenty was still to be decided after court 4, then 3 went final in favor of Florida State. The Seminoles moved to 29-6 on the year. They are back into the championship round of the CCSA tournament for the 3rd time in 3 years, looking to make it a three-peat in the existence of this CCSA. 3rd-year coach Brooke Niles, last year's National Coach of the Year, with a word for her team. They will await the winner of our 2nd semifinal, which will be LSU and South Carolina. The winner of LSU South Carolina will feel somewhat comfortable about a spot in the NCAA tournament. The loser, just like LSU or FIU, the loser of the LSU South Carolina match will be faced with the daunting reality of having to wait till next week to figure out if the selection committee will take them or not. Rachel Erika is standing by with Brooke Niles.
We have the stamina. We've been working on it all year, and so it really helped us for that last game.
Everybody keeps asking if you're aware of what's going on in the other courts. Do you guys know? Can you tell, like, when you're switching? Are you paying attention, or are you just totally focused on your court?
I mean, we never really know what's going on the other courts. We just know that we got to take care of our court to relieve pressure for the other ones.
And I kind of watched court 4, and it's really nice to see them just taking care of business. It inspires me to do my job.
How are you guys going to get ready for the finals?
Just getting warm.
Recovery, focus, you know.
Game plan.
Do what you got to do, yeah. Phil?
We're excited.
Awesome. Coach Niles, how do you keep 1 through 5 playing so consistently, like day in and day out?
I mean, I think it's a testament to the way we train from strength and conditioning. Like, we have the magic formula, I think, for us. And, you know, they just do really take care of their courts. They're not really focused on the other courts because they trust, the trust on this team is unbelievable, and the senior leadership is unbelievable. So sometimes as coaches, we're just sitting back and watching. But, no, they just trust that everybody's going to do their job and that we all prepare the same way and just, you know, get ready to grind it out.
Awesome. Congratulations, girls, and good luck.
Thank you.
Brooke Niles' team has now won 17 consecutive matches. Talk about a roll, rolling on into the championship match. We'll step aside, bring you back, get you set for our 2nd semifinal here on the 11 Sports Network. From the Raleigh Volleyball Complex just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, Florida State makes it 17 matches in a row. They sweep FIU, getting 3-set victories on the top 2 courts, straight set victories on courts 3 through 5. Our second semifinal, LSU and South Carolina, should begin right around 10:30. So we'll step aside and then bring you back as that second semifinal is getting set to get underway. Winner will face Florida State in the championship match. We can set the stage for South Carolina and LSU the same way. Look, they're 8th and 9th nationally.
Do you know what